Salve Discipoli. Today I'm going to walk you through a review of the first 3 sections of Book 1 of Caesar's Gallic Wars. So it starts out with our most famous opening. Gaul is all divided into 3 parts, and then it talks about sort of the map of Gaul and who lives where. So one part is inhabited by the Belgians. The Aquitani tribe inhabit another part. And the third part, the Celts inhabit, and it's called the Celts in their own language, but we the Romans call them the Gauls. And these guys are all different, these 3 tribes, in respect to their language, their institutions, and their laws. And then it talks about the rivers that divide each of them. So the Gauls and the Aquitani are separated by the Garumna River. The Belgians are divided from them by the Matrona and Sequana rivers. And then it says the bravest of all of these are the Belgians because they're farthest from the culture and humanity of the Roman province. And very least often do merchants come to them. And merchants bring things which effeminate or make weak spirits. And then they are also closest to the Germans, the really crazy guys. And the Germans live across the Rhenum, or the Rhine River. And they constantly wage war with the Germans. And for this reason, the Helvetii, our most important tribe from Book 1, are also more virtuous than the rest of the Gauls, because they wage almost daily battles with the Germans for 2 reasons. Either they keep them from their borders, keep the Germans away from their borders, or themselves attack the borders of the Germans. And then one part of Gallia takes its beginning, or its head right here, takes its beginning, from the Rhone River, and it's contained by a few different things. So the Garumna River, the ocean, and the borders of the Belgians. And it is, and what am I saying? The Rhine River is, sorry, my fridge is being really loud. The Rhine River is on the border of the Sequani and Helvetii tribe. And then, remember, it faces the north. The Septentriones is the north. Very important. I think you might remember that one. And then the Belgians come from the furthest borders of Gaul and face the lower part of the river called the Rhine, and look to the north again, and also to the east, aka the rising sun. And then the region Aquitania stretches from the Garumna River to the Pyrenees Mountains, which is towards Spain, and that part of the ocean which is towards Spain, and looks to the setting of the sun, aka west, and to the north again. So lots of north. That's section 1. In section 2, we're focusing in on the Helvetii tribe. The most noble person in the Helvetii, and also the richest, was this dude Orgetorix. And then we have a year. So when this guy and this guy were consuls, that's how we say what year it was. I think it was like 60 BC. He desired a kingdom and made a conspiracy amongst the nobles and persuaded the state of the Helvetii to leave their borders with all of their supplies. It was easy to do this since they exceeded everyone else in virtue, and they would be able to have control of all of Gaul. He persuaded them more easily because in every place the Hawedi tribe was contained by nature. So like they were in a very confined space. In one part of it, they were confined by the Rhine River, which was very wide and deep and separated them from the Germans. On another side, they were blocked by Mount Jura, big mountain. It's called like Thunderhead or something like that. It's like a really big mountain in the Alps, which divides the Sequani and the Hawedi. And on the third side, they're prevented from leaving their borders by Lake Leman, which is Lake Geneva, and the Rhone River. And the Rhone River is what separates the Hawedi from our province, the Roman province. So that means that they were not able to wander around widely, and they couldn't wage war as easily with their neighbors. So it was cause of great pain for them because they liked to wage war. So they thought they had too narrow of borders because the territory of the Hawedi was in longitude, 240 miles, 1,000 paces, 240 miles, and in latitude was 180 miles. Okay, so because of these things, because of what Orgetorix convinced them, they decided they should set out from their borders and gather all of their animals and their carriages, the greatest number that they could buy, and sow a lot of grain so that they could have a lot of grain on their journey. There's journey. And then with the neighboring states in Gaul, they made peace and had friendship. And to get all of these things completed, they thought it was enough to spend 2 years to prepare. In the third year, they decided to set out, and they confirmed this by law. So for completing these things, Orgetorix was chosen as the guy to visit all of these other states. And then on that journey, going around to visit everyone, he persuaded Casticus, one of the Sequani, son of this guy, don't want to say that, who used to be the king of the Sequani, and also was held a friend of the Roman Senate, which is a special title. So Orgetorix convinced this guy Casticus to take over his own kingdom that his dad had had before him, and also Orgetorix persuaded Dumnorix from the Aedui tribe, also a very important tribe, who was the brother of the leader of the Aedui, and was very popular with the plebs, to do the same thing. And also he made a marriage alliance. He gave his daughter over in marriage. He convinced them that this was really easy to do what they tried because they would all be in control of their own states. And there was no doubt but that the Hawedi would be able to take over most of Gaul. And then he confirmed he would join them with supplies and his army to take over these kingdoms. And then after Orgetorix's speeches, they made a pledge and swore an oath. Jus Jurandum is swear an oath. And they occupied those territories by these three strongest and most powerful people. That's the Hawedi, the Aedui, and the Sequani. And they were hopeful that they could take over all of Gaul. So there you go. That's our lightning fast first review passage. Valete.